I want you to picture the one who had your number. He knew your name, your hometown, how much you had left when you swore you were empty. Now, he wasn't the general, and he sure as hell wasn't the lieutenant with that fresh haircut and a clipboard, because he wore stripes. He ran your whole world on nothing but those and a look that could drop you where you stood.
You're looking at a higher rank, Corporal, and you'll obey and you'll like it.
That's the man you remember, not the one who drew up the war, the one who dragged you through it. Welcome to Frontiers and Frontlines, and I'm your guide, Sam. And today, we're talking about the NCO, the backbone of every army that ever marched.
Fletcher's my name. Sergeant Fletcher. Got it? Now, I'm used to having the best platoon in the battalion, and I'm going to have it again. Now, this is the program.
10 pictures, worst to first, ranked by how close they got to the real article. Some nailed them cold, and some dropped him like a hot tailpipe on a deuce and a half. And number one, he's the best damn NCO in a movie ever. All right, fall in. Let's move.
Knock it off, Conway.
No, I'm not gonna knock it off. Stryker, I've had just about enough of your hard-bitten sergeant of the Foreign Legion attitude. You're so big, everybody's been afraid to take a punch at you. Well, I'm not afraid. Cool off.
Okay, privates, here's where we're starting. Sands at Iwo Jima, 1949, and it's the granddaddy of them all. John Wayne, he's Sergeant Stryker, and he's a hard-jawed, bottle-haunted, secretly soft sergeant that every war picture for like the next 40 years, they went and photocopied. And look, I love the Duke, same as your daddy did, but let's be honest with each other. You know, the way old soldiers can be. This ain't your sergeant. This is the poster of your sergeant. Stryker, I mean, he drills the green replacements, you know, riding them hard, and the whole time you can feel the Marine Corps brass just standing just off camera, making sure he comes out all shiny.
In boot camp, you learned out of a book. Out here, you gotta remember the book and learn 1,000 things that have never been printed, probably never will be. You gotta learn right, and you gotta learn fast.
The man's a recruiting station with a pulse. When he catches a sniper round at the very end, with his unfinished letter in his pocket, the boys, they read it over his body. And yeah, it's a beautiful moment. It really is.
You've got to take care of your mother and love her and make her happy. Never hurt her or anyone as I did. Always do what your heart tells you is right.
But it's beautiful in the way a parade is beautiful. All pressed and clean with not a lick of mud on it. The real ones, you know, the real ones, well, they had mud on them. And the whole rest of this list, they got their mud. Now, I mean, I'll give the Duke this. 3 of the actual flag raisers from Iwo Jima, they played themselves in this picture. They stood on that set and they put the flag up one more time for the camera. That's no small thing, and we don't joke about that. So Stryker, he sits at number 10, not because he's bad, but because he's the legend. And every honest sergeant who came after him on this list spent the next 4 decades arguing with John Wayne.
What does anyone want to take an island like this for?
That's war, boy.
What's war?
Trading real estate for men.
When God made the world, he must have taken all the dust and rubbish he had left over and put it here.
Full rudder steady on 010. Aye, sir. Right full rudder steady on course 010, sir. Tank start, we're back full. Rabbit, get back to me. Starboard back full. Aye, sir.
All right, we're going to go to sea with the U-571 back in 2000, and we're going to talk about the chief, because every boat's got one. He ain't the captain, he's the chief. And Harvey Keitel, he's been riding submarines since before the skipper even learned to shave, knowing every pipe and every groan that hull can make. And here's the moment that'll put a knot in your throat. The young lieutenant, he gets thrown into command before he's ready, and he cracks under it and says that out loud in front of the crew, that he don't know what to do.
Full of U-boats.
And we got nothing to defend ourselves with.
You think I got all the answers? You think I know how we're gonna get out of this mess? I don't. I don't know how.
So the chief, he hauls him into the shadows and he sets him straight, quiet and hard. Don't you ever let him see that. You're the skipper now. The skipper always knows what to do. whether he does or he doesn't, and that's the whole job right there.
A man to be feared and respected, all-knowing, all-powerful. Don't you dare say what you said to the boys back there again, I don't know. Those 3 words will kill a crew, dead as a depth charge.
The part nobody ever really writes in the manual. The chief, he ain't fighting the officer for control. He's building him up. Any of you who've ever had to raise up a butter bar lieutenant younger than your own field gear knows exactly what he's doing. Smiling on the outside, sweating on the inside, making that boy look like he handled it the whole time.
How come you're not in charge? Just got up out of his dogroom, was kicking Tyler out of the Navy anyway, and everybody here knows that. You stole that shit right now, sailor.
Lieutenant Tyler is your commanding officer, and you respect that man as such. Do you understand?
Yes, Chief.
And just a quick note for the history hounds. Yep, the real Enigma capture, that was from the British, and hats off to them. But that's a fight for a different video. The skipper drives the boat. The chief, he's the reason there's anybody left to drive it. In Objective Burma from 1946, it's got Errol Flynn who gets the poster for this one, because Errol Flynn, he always got the poster. But you watch this movie with a grunt's eyes, and you see who's really running that patrol through the jungle. It ain't the captain, it's the sergeants, because it's always the sergeants. This is a long patrol picture, and the genius of it is how unglamorous it is. There's a jump in, clean as you like, but then it's the slow grind, the heat, the water that's always running low, and the ammo that's always running lower, and men dropping from just pure exhaustion before the enemy even fires a shot. And the fella keeping that ragged collar moving, counting canteens, checking feet, turning, hold on a little longer into an actual order a man could follow, well, that's the NCO. He's been keeping people alive 1 mile at a time.
10-minute break. No smoking. Easy on the water. Me, I crave action.
You can't expect to find a jet behind every tree.
Personally, I like them in front of...
A fun bit of history here, because it kind of tickles me. This movie was so dead set on making it look like Americans won Burma all by their lonesome that British yanked it clean out of their theaters for years. A war picture that started its own little international incident, liquor than a boiled onion and twice as hard to hold on to. But when you strip the flag waving off, and what's underneath is true, the war in Burma really was this. Not glory, just men and water and distance, and a sergeant doing the arithmetic.
What's your name?
Truscott, sir. Stand to attention when the officer addresses you.
I'll take these names to the tailor's on, Fletcher.
Very good, sir. Look to the front.
Do you think you're going to enjoy the army, Truscott?
Well, I put down for the Navy, sir.
Your name?
Lloyd, sir.
Go on, stand at ease.
Oh, this is...
All right, now we're going to hop the pond because the British, they made a sergeant worth talking about, and he don't yell a bit like ours. The Way Ahead from 1944, and this was made while the shooting was still going on. It's about a pack of conscripts, men dragged out of garages and shops, dumped into uniform, and handed over to Sergeant Fletcher. And Fletcher's a different animal from the American Screamers. He's a quiet, hard guy, dry as a soda cracker, and he doesn't break these men with volume. He breaks them with standards, and a look that says he's already disappointed and willing to wait.
All right, when you finish here, report down to the quartermaster's stores. He's got some scrubbing for you. Oh, and by the way, the next man I catch walking about the camp with his hands in his pockets will be put on a charge.
And here's a part that'll land for some of you, and he shares a load with his lieutenant. It's a partnership, the officer and the sergeant, forging these sad sack civilians into soldiers together. There's a moment where Fletcher tells the lieutenant, real quiet-like, that a couple of these recruits might make NCOs themselves someday. Well, that's like the highest thing a sergeant can say about a man. He sees what you could become before you can.
Well, new, sir. But there's some good men there. Lloyd, for one. He hasn't got the hang of things yet, but he's got the knack of handling men all right. He's a bit of a nuisance at the moment, but later on he'll make an NCO. Now, Luke...
Got him under it again, have you, sir?
Couple of things an old movie hound might tell you. The fellow playing Fletcher, well, that's William Hartnell. He'd go on to be the very first Doctor Who. And this picture premiered in London on June 6, 1944, D-Day. Same morning the real boys were going up to the real beaches that all this training was for. It doesn't end on the end, by the way. It ends on the words, the beginning. You sit with that for a second. They put that in front of an audience whose sons were, that very week, walking into fire.
Every rifle you turn over to me, I'll give you a pint of water. For the mortar, I'll give you a quart. You turn over all your rifles, and I'll give you water enough for all your men.
I've heard you Americans have a great sense of humor. I'll give you a last chance.
All right, we got Bogart, a tank, and a desert, and a sergeant making an army out of nothing but strangers and stubbornness. Sahara, from 1943, drops Master Sergeant Joe Gunn in the Libyan desert, and he's cut off with one tank under him and a whole lot of nothing around him.
When they're starving to death and dying of thirst. That's why you put me in command, to look ahead.
But this is a matter of a man's life.
You're wrong, Doc. It's a matter of the lives of 10 men. We got a long ways to go, and we need every crumb of food and every drop of water.
And then the strays start collecting. A Brit here, a Frenchman there, a Sudanese soldier over there, even a prisoner or two. No officer to salute, no chain of command to lean on. Just Gunn welding a band of strangers who don't even all speak the same tongue into a unit, just by sheer competence and a flat refusal to quit.
Well, nobody minds giving his life, but this is throwing it away. Why?
Why? Maybe they were all nuts. There's one thing they did do. They delayed the enemy and kept on delaying him until we got strong enough to hit him harder than he was hitting us.
Just a man who knows a job so cold that everybody around him decides to follow. And the climax of this thing, this is the most sergeant thing I think I've ever seen put on film. Gunn beats a whole German battalion, but not with firepower, but with an empty well, dangles water in front of a column dying of thirst, and springs a trap. He wins the fight with a poker face and a dry hole in the ground. Tighter than a tick, twice as smart.
Get down there and take their guns away from them. Let them drink all they want and then line them up. I'll cover you from here.
Bogart, he plays him grounded. No chest beating, no speeches, just a tired man doing the impossible math. The unit Joe Gunn built out of nothing, it was more real than any proper armies marching around it. A sergeant's command conjured out of thin desert air and pure will.
Coming up, Tom. Fellas, I'm getting it.
Hi, Waco.
Hi, Joe.
You got a butt?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about a sergeant who held a doctor at gunpoint, and I want to tell you what, this really happened. A Bridge Too Far back from 1977 is a 3-hour epic stuffed with just about every single movie star alive in that year. And James Caan, he walks in, takes one small role, and he walks off with the whole picture's heart. He plays Staff Sergeant Eddie Dohun, and Dohun's captain gets shot up bad in the fighting. I mean, he's shot so bad, they call him dead. And Dohun looks at the body and just refuses. He won't have it. So he loads his dead captain into a Jeep, runs into the woods crawling with German armor, like there's a tracking shot following the Jeep that'll raise the hair on your arms, gets him to a field hospital, and when the surgeon won't operate on a man he sure is gone, Dohun pulls the sidearm and makes him. The captain lives.
Look at him, please, sir. Right now. I'll blow your fucking head off.
I can give him a quick examination tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's the NCO's first commandment, the welfare of your men, taken right past the edge of the law and dare anybody to say different. And here's the kicker. the part you couldn't make up. The real Sergeant Dohan, he got arrested for that stunt for exactly 1 minute. They timed it on the arresting officer's wristwatch, and then they turned him loose because every single man standing there knew he was right.
Sergeant Dohan pulled a gun on me and threatened to kill me unless I did precisely what he ordered. I want you to put him under arrest.
Yes, sir.
I want you to keep him there. I want you to keep him there for at least 10 seconds.
I'm not all that sure I understand, Colonel.
Count to 10, Lieutenant. Fast.
Ken had his pick of bigger parts in that cast. He chose this one. He chose a sergeant who wouldn't believe the word dead.
Where's the captain?
Dead.
I didn't ask you how he was. I asked you where he was.
All right, let's take a trip up the river. And on a boat where every man is slowly losing his mind, there's exactly one fella still trying to do his job by the book. And it's the chief.
What's up, Chief?
A junk boat, Captain. We're going to take a routine check.
Well, let's forget routine now and let him go.
These boats are running supplies in this delta, Captain. I'm going to take a look.
Apocalypse Now from 1979, which is where everybody remembers the helicopters and the napalm. Rando in the dark. But you go watch Chief Phillips. He's the NCO, as the last thread of discipline in a movie built to come apart at the seams. He wants the boat run right. He wants the mission understood. He wants his men accountable, even as the whole war around him stops making a lick of damn sense. There's the sampan, the civilian boat they stopped to search. Phillips wants it done by protocol, by the rules. And guess what? It goes wrong, like horribly wrong, in about 4 seconds flat. And you watch this chief realize that the rules he's been holding on to, well, they don't fit the war he's actually in. And that's a heavy thing to put on a man's face.
Yellow can. Check the yellow can. She was sitting on it. What's in it?
And Albert Hall, he does this without a word. He's the most sane man on the boat, and the river, it kills him for it. Takes him with a spear, and even dying, he's still trying to enforce the chain of command. He's still trying to do his duty straight to the last breath. Here's the quiet truth of it all. In a story about every kind of madness, the chief is the one man who never let go of the job. And that's exactly the thing that finished him.
Take his head off!
Now this movie's actually got 2 NCOs we're going to talk about. And between them, they show you both halves of the whole job. The breaking down and the holding together. Glory from 1989, it's about the 54th Massachusetts, the 1st Black Regiment of the Civil War, with free men volunteering to fight for the freedom of others. And to forge them, Sergeant Major Mulcahy, the British-Irish drill instructor.
Bloody Hindus, get it right! Stop! Start again! In each rank, go!
He's hard, he's mean, and he drills these men till they hate him. And there's a party you watch that wants to jump through that screen and throttle him if you don't understand what he's doing. And then you watch those same men, drilled to a razor's edge, survive because of him. And then you understand. Mulcahy, he was never cruel for sport. He was buying them a few more minutes of life with every ounce of misery. Sometimes the meanest sergeant in your memory was the one who loved you the most. He just couldn't say it in any language but push-ups.
This is your front. This is your rear. This is your right. And this... Now you're learning, boyo. Company, forward, march. To one.
Then there's the other one, Morgan Freeman as Rawlins. He started the war digging graves, and he rose to sergeant major, the NCO who'll come up from the very bottom. And he became the soul of that regiment, the man who can stand square between a furious private and a green young officer and be trusted by both. There's this scene where he takes Denzel's character apart with nothing but the truth, and it's about the finest NCO moment on this whole list.
What are you? So full of hate you just want to go out and fight everybody? Because you've been whipped and chased by hounds. Well, that might not be living, but it sure as hell ain't dying. And dying's what these white boys been doing for going on 3 years now. Dying by the thousands. Dying for you, fool.
The 54th? Well, they went up to Fort Wagner and to the guns, knowing the odds, and it didn't break them. And the only reason they didn't break, it's those two sergeants who made them and held them together.
But we need an experienced man. You happen to have that experience.
Look, Lieutenant, you got nothing out there but rice paddies crawling with commies. Just waiting to slap you between two big hunks of rye bread and wash you down with fish eggs and vodka.
Now you all remember way back at number 10 when we talked about John Wayne, you know, all pressed and clean. Now I want you to meet his exact opposite, and I want you to know the man who made this picture turned down John Wayne to do it. The steel helmet, 1951, Sam Fuller. And Fuller, he wasn't some Hollywood softy. He was a decorated infantryman who'd been in the real thing. Made this Korean War picture in like 10 days for $140,000, and they shot it in a city park and filled out his army with 25 college kids. 25. He made a handful of students look like a war.
Come on your feet.
Oh,
Come on, get up.
For Pete's sake.
Outside and jackass the rest of that equipment in. Come on, unpack those mules. Let's go.
And his sergeant, Sergeant Zach, is everything Stryker is not. He ain't got no speeches, there's no flag furling in the breeze behind him, just a cigar-chomping, bone-tired survivor who crawls out of a massacre and drags a ragtag bunch to a temple to make a stand.
Now listen, I don't want any of you to disfigure these walls. Touch the gods or break anything. I want you to leave this temple exactly as you found it.
He's bitter and he's blunt, and he keeps the men alive out of pure stubborn competence and not 1 ounce of sentiment. It opens on Zach crawling forward, hands tied behind his back, a bullet hole punch clean through his helmet, the sole survivor of his whole outfit. One of the great openings in any war film, and Fuller shot it for pocket change.
I've got a hunch we're going around in circles, Lieutenant.
I'm not interested in your hunches.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you ballerinas, you're all bunched up! Where'd you learn to go on a patrol of special service?
Holy smoke!
The studio, they offered him the Duke for the lead. Fuller, he said no. He cast an unknown Gene Evans instead, threw him a rifle across the desk at an audition, and told him, cock it, and that was the screen test. The cheapest picture on the whole list got closer to the truth of the sergeant than the $1 Million Legend at number 10 even tried to. And Fuller, he damn well knew it, because Fuller, he had been Zach.
If those commies get wise we're directing fire from this temple, they'll have every big gun from Manchuria to Moscow trying to knock us down.
All right, let's just hold on for a moment before we hit our number 1. I gotta ask y'all something, and I'd like a real answer down in the comments. Every one of you who served, you had 2 sergeants living in your memory. You had your worst, you know, the one that still raises your blood pressure like 30 years later, and you had your best, the one you'd follow clean through the gates of hell and ask for seconds. So tell me, down below, who's your worst and who's your best? Name them. We'll all be reading them and nodding our heads along with you. All right, let's get back to it.
Take a platoon, let's go!
I was glad to be out of my foxhole and moving again, even if only to get warm. E Company was sent to clear the Bois Jacques, the woods near the town of Foy, in preparation for what we all knew would be the eventual assault on Foy itself.
All right, here we are. We're at the number 1, and I'm just going to tell you straight, he's the best damn NCO ever put on screen, and he's also the quietest. It's kind of funny how that works. First Sergeant Carwood Lipton in Bastogne, frozen, shelled to splinters, and there's men dying in holes in the snow. And Easy Company's got this officer who's just completely checked out. He's a man who freezes when it counts. So into that gap, without ever raising his voice, and without ever once reaching for the credit, steps in Lipton. He goes foxhole to foxhole in that murdering cold, and he calls every man by name. He gets him steady. He gets him supplied. He gets him focused, and he keeps him whole.
Yes, sir, I understand he will be there physically. But tomorrow's going to be the real deal. And he's going to have to lead those men. He's going to have to make decisions, sir, and I got to tell you, sir, I think he's going to get a lot of Easy Company men killed.
He reads where each one of those boys is about to break, and he gets there first. And that's a thing the whole list has been circling the entire time. It ain't the loudest sergeant you remember, and it ain't the legend. It's the best one who never raised their voice because they never had to. All they had to do was go quiet and look at you, and you'd straighten up faster than any hollering ever made you. The scariest thing a great sergeant owns, it ain't his volume, it's his disappointment.
I always knew the E Company men who trained at Dakota wouldn't get through the war unscathed, but now I was beginning to wonder if any of us were going to make it through at all. E Company would lead the attack. The problem was, at least in my estimation, E Company still did not have a leader.
Lipton's a man who did everything for his men and let them think they did it themselves. The ones who carried the whole company on their back through the worst winter of the war and never asked to be seen doing it. No medal speech, no big scene, just a sergeant holding the line nobody else could hold. The episode's called The Breaking Point, and the whole entire point of it is that Lipton is the reason Easy Company never reached theirs. The men who came home, they don't remember the one who shouted, they remember the one who carried them.
I've been told there's always been one man they could count on. Let him into the Bois Jacques, held them together when they had the crap shelled out of them in the woods. Every day kept the spirits up, kept the men focused, gave them direction. All the things a good combat leader does.
These pictures came out of something real. After every war, the men who lived it, they went home and they tried to make some sense of it. And tucked inside damn near every one of them was a sergeant. Because that's who the soldiers remember. Not the general's grand plan, the voice in the dark that said, "Get up, we're moving, stay with me." The officer, he gives the war its shape. The NCO, he gives the soldiers his odds of coming home. And if you served, you know exactly whose face I'm talking about right now. If this one hit home, I'd appreciate a like on the video to tell me I'm doing the good work. I hope to see you in the comments. But until then, lock and load, partners, and keep the reels a-rolling.